everyone! Last week, I hosted a community challenge event where the objective was to solo Mourning Aix 6 with Havoc Rover. There have been a lot of very exciting clears throughout the week, so let's check them out. We'll set the stage with Formal's impressive 107 clear, the fastest submission this week. This was a very aggressively played fight, using the Rose-Shroom Summon Echo as to not lose any downtime on Rover's attacks. This submission is a great example of animation cancelling. Notice how the skill is always used at an ideal time to cancel long animations such as Basic Attack 5 or the Forte animation, which is something that can also apply to almost every other character in the game. Basic 5 always has a long wind down, and skills can cancel any basic attack animation, but you need to make sure the damage for it is properly queued before attacking. For example, Encore's Basic Attack 5 is locked in place after the wheelie appears at the end, at which point it can be dodged or skill cancelled. Anyway, back to the submission. You'll also notice that the times in the rotation where the skill is used may feel a bit different than what most are used to. That's because Blazing Brilliance, Chun-Li's signature weapon, in contrast with Emerald of Genesis, wants you to use your skill late when you have full stacks, as opposed to early to get the buff. While this is the fastest clear, there was a very notable clear on the opposite end of the spectrum that was also very impressive. Enter the unnecessarily laborious Mourning Aix kill by Y-Brain Smooth, with a clear time of nearly 5 minutes. What's special about this clear? They didn't press the dodge button once. Yup, there's a lot of attacks that you could simply jump over or parry in unexpected ways. When Aix dives from the sky, many submitters would use Rover's plunge attack to parry it, and this submission shows why. Both the hitbox for the plunge attack as well as that for the balls are extremely generous here, allowing you to parry the boss when it's still in the air. Pretty funny stuff to see. However, there's one of Aix's attacks that you can't jump out of, the bullet hell attack. And this is where their echo comes into play. Yup, they're using the Violet Feathered Heron 3 cost, which is a parry echo, allowing them to avoid the attack without having to dodge. Crazy stuff. Now, most of the boss fight had to be played extremely safe due to the amount of attacks that are not avoidable by simply jumping, hence the long clear time. But this is an incredible feat nonetheless. I don't know how I could ever shake off the muscle memory of wanting to dodge. Let's talk about echoes a bit. Most of the submissions this week used either Rostrum or Tambourines, both of which are summon echoes. While Dreamless is the gut instinct pick on Havoc Rover due to its large damage that is increased by 50% after Rover's liberation, it's not great in a solo scenario. Transforms have a very long field time, and while this is negated by swapping out of the character in a normal team, this is extremely expensive solo. The transform is competing with your on-field DPS, and either wasting your valuable Dark Surge time, where your basic attacks are empowered, or wasting time that could be used to build up said forte. However, there is a transform that was used very cleverly by some, and that would be Crownless. Crownless is a transform with a long animation that provides 2 buffs upon untransforming. However, unlike many other transforms, this can be instantly cancelled out of, and you'll still receive the buff, effectively making this a buffing echo. Ilu Comet was one of those that took advantage of this. Let's look at their submission. This submitter being a dungeon main means that we could expect some good gameplay here, and that's exactly what we got. This was a very efficient clear, landing it at a 118 clear time. Well played. Something else I wanted to talk about on this clear was the skill usage with Emerald of Genesis. So, Emerald of Genesis provides an attack buff when using the skill. Some might think, why not use the skill immediately? And this is something I noticed on many submissions. They would use the skill as soon as possible, which makes sense on paper. Get it on cooldown, get the buff, it's more efficient, right? Well, Havoc Rover resets skill cooldown upon entering Dark Surge, and with efficient gameplay, you'll fill up your forte bar in less than the cooldown of the base skill, meaning that even if you use it at the start, you won't be getting a second cast off in most situations anyway. And as such, it's more value to cancel the end time of a basic attack chain than to get 6% more attack for a few seconds. Anyway, if you wanted to watch full submissions, please check the links in the description, or watch the VOD where I reviewed every one. This week's challenge is Dynamic Duo, featuring a duo team with 1 4-star and 1 5-star Resonator, taking place on Hazard Tower Floor 1 versus the Impermanence Heron. I'm excited to see what you guys have to cook up. See you guys next time, bye bye!